Welcome back, everyone. We're on day 7 of this build, and today we're going to get this house all finished up just like the last one. We left off last video getting the deck done and most of the perimeter walls completed. And today we're going to get all the interior walls done, as well as the porch built, and get everything ready to get the trusses set. For those who don't know, trusses are the roof framing all built into one package. You get them set one by one, get them braced and tied together, and then you could complete the rest of the roof by plywooding and whatever else you need to do. But that part will be left for my next video, and we still gotta finish this house, so let's get into it. If you've been watching so far, you pretty much already know how these walls go about, but if you're not familiar, you could see how all of these walls are built on my day 3 video. Regardless, I'm still going to explain as I go. Right now, I'm just building a small interior wall with a doorway. That P right there in between the X's indicates where another interior wall will butt into this one. These little blocks set the standard doorway height. Make sure to pull layout so they stand up straight and square. This would be the bottom plate of the wall. We're going to lift this and slide it into place. You can see the other small wall on the ground where it goes in between. You gotta make sure your walls are nice and tight together, or it'll throw things off in the future. Nail it down and then connect the top plates. I use this nail technique sometimes when they don't want to get tight. You just bend the nail over and pry with your hammer, and it should get it nice and good. If not, just drive some more nails through the back side. And then we move on to a very simple small wall. Just a couple studs and then a top plate. Make sure you nail it flush with the other piece. This is the one that goes in between the wall I just built. And my camera orientation did flip at this point, so this footage is a little funky. I do connect both sides of the top plate, but I don't get all the footage. Then I moved to help my coworker set this small doorway wall into place. After that, my coworker finished this long interior wall, so we get that up as well. I get this corner flush with the front doorway wall and then get it nailed up. And then connect all the top plates on the right partition lines. Then I get called over to help lift this other interior wall, which closes up all these little closets and walkways. I let them get that secured and I go back to my wall. If there's any part on these walls where you feel like I'm not explaining it properly enough, feel free to let me know in the comments. Walls aren't always going to be in one piece. This is me connecting the other part of the wall. Now we're lifting up the main side wall, which butts into the back wall. This is the side of the great room and it leads to the front hallway. When you nail these walls up on the partition marks, technically they should be plumb and level. Since it was all laid out on the ground, it should be exact. Of course, when you get it all raised, you still have to straighten and make sure everything is still plumb. Here I'm cutting a couple of small blocks for the wall I'm building. However, I didn't realize after I cut them that there was already a stack already pre-cut. This is just another interior wall with 2 doorways. Get the king studs nailed to the header, and then the rest of the studs nailed on layout. We usually do all the bucks for the interior doors at the end for the punch out list. And I think I missed the footage of us raising this wall. This is one of the hallway walls that connects with the front of the house. I put a little mark on the top plate at 3 1/4. That's so when it intersects with another wall, it'll overlap, but it won't go too far. Of course, that only applies for 2x4 walls. For 2x6 walls, you'll have to overlap at 5 1/4. We get this lifted up and slid into place. Make sure you're always getting it nailed down and connecting all the top plates. I have a coworker pull on the wall so I can nail it tighter in place. This is the finisher piece for that right hallway side wall. We get this side wall up and connected where it needs to go. I get this small doorway wall built, but I don't get the footage of us lifting it and putting it into place. Then we get another small doorway wall built that goes near the front of the house. Then we lift up this small doorway wall, which connects some of these closets up front. While I get these top plates connected, my coworker slides another small wing wall over here, so I connect that one too. Once you start getting down to the last couple walls, it does start to get cramped when you build them in these tiny spaces. This wall caps the outside of some of those hallway closets. We get those bottom plates cut out in the doors when we do the final punch out list. This wall was a little pesky to get into place. We had to slide it in between like 3 other interlocking walls. Here I'm putting on the top plates for these slanted closet walls. I could give my coworker a bunch of confusing measurements to get an exact piece, or I could just have him cut a board to an approximate size and then trace it for him to cut. And it works out just fine. So this time, instead of plywooding, I'm going to build the garage wall solo while my coworkers plywood around the house. Personally, I don't like doing garage walls that much because it's always on some type of uneven ground, but it's got to get done regardless. For one, we have a double bottom plate. The first bottom plate takes most of the space where there's a lot of bolts that is bolted into the green board. And for the top of the wall, I have a 2x10 or 2x12 stood straight up. That way I could lay all the studs out and it's on even footing with the bottom plate on the green board. Usually you just need to nail a small block onto your 2x12 so it stays vertical. I get the first half of the garage wall up, and I build it in 2 pieces just to make it easier on myself. And then I get the rest of the side garage wall built. I get this piece lifted and then put a small brace on until I get the rest of the walls finished. This would be the opposite side garage wall near the front door. Honestly, these garages are kind of small compared to some of the garages we usually build. We actually recently built a garage so big it doubled as a plane hangar. I get this stood up and attached pretty easily. I guess I missed the footage of me building the front garage wall, but it's literally only 2 king studs to hold the garage header and then a top plate. And then here's where we set the large LVL garage header, which will hold the garage door. It's nice when you got a lift to help you get it into place. Not everyone is so lucky. We've lifted many a large header without the help of a machine. Make sure you get it nailed nice and good so it doesn't go anywhere. Then I get a measurement for the top cripple blocks. But then we move on to making the beams for the front porch. If you didn't see it on the first house, these will be the large LVL beams for the front porch. It'll be one larger one and one smaller one, which will be just the basic structure of the front porch. I do believe these are some of the more expensive pieces of wood on this job site, so make sure you measure multiple times before you get it cut. It always sucks when you cut one of these wrong and you have to order out a new one because they always come in limited supplies. We get one end flush that will butt into the front garage wall, and then the other side will have an 1.5 inch notch for the other porch beam. Then get it all flush and nail it off. We put this block under it so it doesn't sag and have a huge bow in it. If you nail it with a huge bow, it will stay that way. So then when you want to straighten it, when you get it into place, it's going to be much harder. That impulse gun I'm using doesn't always drive the nail all the way, so I gotta hammer a lot of them down. But yeah, basically that's about all for this video. I get the other small porch beam made, and at the very end you can catch a glimpse of me pulling a brace to get a wall plumb. So definitely tune in next week if you want to see me set the trusses for both these houses and get these roofs completed. If you like what you've been seeing, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And of course, if you have any criticisms or feedbacks regarding my work or my videos, definitely leave a comment to let me know. This is Old Dirty Carpenter. I thank y'all for watching and I'll see you on the next one. Porch.